Thanks, Katrina, for that, for the welcoming remarks, and also for again making the links to the fellows, and I hope you all get to meet the fellows as the conference goes on. So finally, I'd like to invite Chip Hauss from the Alliance for Peacebuilding to give a few remarks.
From the initial slides Helena sent, I assumed I was going directly after Sanjana, which is an impossible task, so I didn't even try. And I also knew from the first 2 years that I would spend some time the day before the formal opening learning stuff, which happened. But in my case, that actually occurred before I left on whatever day it was, Thursday, when I had a discussion with an improbable partner who helped me define the transformational piece of this. This is a guy I shouldn't like. He's less than half my age, though we will soon get there. Like you guys, right? And he has a PhD in mathematical biology, was a postdoc in complexity science at Harvard, worked for the Ewing-Kaufman Foundation as a data scientist. The Ewing-Kaufman Foundation is sort of a libertarian-leaning entrepreneurship foundation in the US, and now works as a chief scientist at a venture fund, and has 2 kids, and has written 2 books. And I read the second of his 2 books called Overcomplicated rather, in which he puts the work we face in a context of 2 changes and 1 constant. The change, the first is Moore's Law, which we all know, accelerating rates of change. The second is, I think he uses the term Metcalfe's Law. Bob Metcalfe invented Ethernet, and he talks about how we are becoming increasingly interdependent. So what I do impacts you more and more and more and more and more, and that creates in economic speak positive externalities or public goods and all these kind of jargony things that we don't want to work about, but it means that everything we do impacts everyone else, and we can't just work on the assumption that we're independent individuals. And so we have those 2 changes, interdependence and interconnection. And we try to deal with them, Sam says, through the use of kludges. If you've ever coded, you know that a kludge is an attempt to make a flawed piece of software work well enough. And what Sam's trying to argue is that we live in a world in which we're trying to take old technology, old tools, old institutions, and make them work in a world that's totally different. And so AFP is, how do I make this go down? So actually, this didn't produce what I thought it was going to do. So at AFP, we do 3 things. We innovate. We try, my job in particular is to bring new ideas into the field. So we have a project going that Maud, who you will meet, who Ellen's already shown you, worked on for a while, and that's how do we bring neuroscience into this field? How do we learn about what's happening inside people's heads, and how are we hardwired and how are we not hardwired to be peaceful and or violent? And we have a grant now from USIP to add spirituality to that. So we're really playing on the fringes of a whole variety of topics, not just on technology, but on how do we bring ideas from other disciplines like Sam Arbesman, who's a business guy, into our work. The second thing we try to do is to impact better. And by impact, we mean how do we do our work better? So here we have a few initiatives, one of which is we coordinate learning and evaluation for the field, at least the American partners in the field. But we're also trying to figure out how to do our work better. So Maud, again, has helped us think about how you use technology, including low-level technologies like Facebook and the like, to actually apply them in the field, not high-tech scientists like most of us. And finally, we try to influence. How do we try to impact in our case, primarily the American, but also the UN policy process. And here we think about trying to add new things to our arsenal. So when Maud worked with us, she got us thinking about Myanmar, which we had never really done. And she helped us pull together and build connections to American policymakers to think about Myanmar. But also we try to bring together strange political bedfellows. So one of the people that Sanjana works with at ICT for Peace is a guy named Linton Wells, who says hello, by the way, Sanjana, who is a retired Assistant Secretary of Defense. And was a former Chief Technology Officer at the Pentagon. Not exactly someone you would think of as a typical partner, but we're trying to build data sharing platforms that the NGO community, governments, and now private corporations could share. So why are we supporting this? First of all, everything we do in peace building has to include technology. But, and this is an incredible but, when I went to the first conference at MIT, I knew exactly one person when I walked into the room. Diana Chikas will be speaking to us later. Last year, when we met at MIT, at Cyprus, there were 200 and some people there. We had our own conference 2 weeks later. There were 200 and some people there. There were exactly 2 people who attended both. So we have to be here in order for us to do our work. And again, if we're going to transform, we have to use technology. And last but by no means least, we'll have some fun for the next few days.